Imagine living in a world where there is little or no room for women at the top. Is it us? Is it the world? Should we be empowered? Or what does it really take to get a seat at the table? Today, I'm joined by an amazing woman with an extensive background in the finance sector as well as top management roles, and together we'll be answering these questions in her own life story. Hello, my name is Latricia Panda and I will be hosting this interview, and together we'll be discussing about achieving an equal future when it comes to women in leadership. In knowing about women in leadership and their importance, Mwananchi Communications Limited, under its business flagship The Citizen, is bringing to you the Citizen Rising Woman Initiative 2021 with the aim to inspire and empower women that are leaders in our society. I'm joined by Ms. Jacqueline Woiso, who is the Managing Director of MultiChoice Tanzania. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Latricia. I appreciate.
Well, I'd like to say you have an extensive background when it comes to finance and top management roles. What is your story? I'm very interested to know about it, and to what do you owe your success?
Okay, thanks, Latricia. I would say that sharing a life story is not a very simple thing, but I'll try and make it quite brief and nice so that the audience can understand me clearly. But I would say that my life story, I'm actually now managing MultiChoice Tanzania. I've had this job for the last 2 years, but before that I had worked in 3 different banks between 1999 until 2018. And during my career, I would say I actually started my job at the very lowest position. I started as a back office bank clerk, and even I'll never forget my first badge when I was employed. It was written Jacqueline Woiso at that time, my maiden name, and it's written below bank clerk. So and sometimes you are feeling embarrassed to walk around with those badges in the banking hall, but that is what I was, so I had to move around with it until I get something else. So as usual, I was not happy with what I was doing because it was the lowest position in the bank. So that was Standard Chartered Bank. I started with Arusha branch, so I had to start looking for other things to do within the bank, of course grow my career internally. So what I did is actually immediately after 9 months, I applied for another job which was being advertised in the bank. And just by coincidence, at that time which I was applying for that job, I was already pregnant with my firstborn. But still I said I have to go and apply for this job, and I just believed myself that I could do it. So I went for the interview together with other people and I was successful. And by the time I was asked to actually join that position, I had only 1 week before I would go for maternity leave. So yeah, so it was quite weird and also interesting. But I had a very good line manager who said, that is fine. And being a woman, she said, I understand you have responsibilities, you have to balance your career growth as well as affairs of your family. So I got this opportunity, so I went for maternity leave, then I joined back, and then that's when I started actually assuming that position. But still it was a low position, it was not a senior role. And then eventually with time I grew into different positions within Standard Chartered Bank in Dar es Salaam in corporate banking. And then after some time, after 5.5 years, I thought that I was not interested with back office roles. I wanted something more interesting and of course more paying, because you know when you are in the bank or in any other company, when you do sales roles, you actually get more payment because you actually get commission or incentives, and even better salary because you actually bring business or revenues to the company. So in 2004, I decided to look for other avenues. And at the same time, that period, I already had 2 kids and I had just started my master's degree. And then I also wanted to look for something else. So blindly, I just applied for a job at Barclays Bank in 2004 without knowing much about the job. I only heard that they were advertising for the job. I didn't even see the advertisement itself. So I applied for the job and then I went for the interview and I was the lucky one to get the job. Yeah. So I moved. I had never done sales before, but I was really keen that I wanted to do something different. So I would say that was the first turning point in my career. And I was given, I would say, a great opportunity because I was actually tasked to run a function and establish a new function and manage it. So it means starting doing all the processes and policies for that function, product development, do sales, and also recruit people who are going to work with me in the team. So for me it was a new experience, but also very exciting, and it was a test of time, because I faced a lot of resistance with the team because I was the new one there, and I was bringing in a new thing, and I needed to recruit new people, so everything was new, and I had to deal with mindset issues and all perspective related issues. But it went pretty well, I would say. And of course, after 2.5 years, I wanted to grow further, so that's when I moved to Benkem in 2007 and worked all my way up from a head of department to the CEO level in 2017. And then later on, after the statutory management, that's when I moved to MultiChoice Tanzania. Again, a very different industry, very vibrant, dynamic, media sector, entertainment, and that's what you see here.
Exactly. Did you join MultiChoice as a managing director directly, or did you start from somewhere below and went all the way up?
I actually joined as a managing director, so it's the same position, yeah.
First, I would like to acknowledge the fact that you were very persistent and very courageous to want to apply for different jobs that are very different from you. I think that is something very important for women to have, and to believe in themselves that they can reach to a certain level. Like what you did, you're not okay with just being there. You wanted more in life and you went for it. Well, I'd like to know, has it always been your dream to be at the top? Or is it something that you just started your job and you're like, okay, this is not for me, I have the potential to be more?
Okay, I would say frankly speaking, I never thought or aspired as to be the MD of a company, no. But I didn't want to do junior jobs or simple jobs. I wanted to do something better. Yeah. That was what I was looking at. And I also believe that I'm a very hardworking person. I can work for so many hours if I want to. So I really knew what I wanted, and that's what I basically did, and that's how I reached there. So it's not about being very persistent on being powerful within the company, that I want to be the MD, or I'm looking at my MD and I'm saying that for sure I want to replace this chap here. No, it was not that way, but I would say that I've been always very hardworking, regardless of my situations, because you'll have kids, you have to go for maternity leave. The kids, when they're in the growing stage, they'll always fall sick every now and then. My kids have an interval of exactly 2 years, and they're 2 boys, and normally boys under 5 always fall sick every now and then. So you have to go through all these challenges, and that's when if people who are working with you get to see that, okay, this person is trying her best and she deserves this. So that's basically how I've grown through in my career path.
While you were speaking about your story, I came to realize that you spoke about people who believed in you. You know, you were going to maternity, but they decided to give you a chance to take the role despite that. So how has mentorship played a role in you becoming who you are today? Did you have mentors? And if they are, can you acknowledge them? Who are they? And are you mentoring other young women to reach a point that you have reached?
Okay, I would say that if we talk about the proper definition of mentors, I would say not fully, but I have several personal consultants. I would say yes, they are, and several of them. I wouldn't be able to recall even maybe some of them, but I can mention a few, especially the ones who were very, I would say, supportive when I started off my career. Actually, the first person who said that, yes, you should apply for this job, that guy was my line manager at Standard Chartered Bank when I was a clerk. His name is Kenneth Kasigila. He's now working at CRDB Bank as the executive assistant to the managing director. He is my first boss, and I always call him my boss to this day. And then I also had my other line manager who was also very supportive. When she was actually told I'm heavily pregnant, and she insisted that she wants to recruit me because she heard that I was a very good worker. That was Regina Nyange, who I worked with her at Standard Chartered Bank for a number of years. And also my other bosses, I also had worked with Lawrence Mafuru. He was also my senior manager at that time at Standard Chartered Bank. Also a very, very encouraging person, and he said, if you want to apply for a job at Barclays Bank, please go for it and I will support you. So I had a lot of people supporting me on the backside. Yeah.
So are you also mentoring a couple of people?
I would say yes, because people keep coming to me and talking to me, seeking for advice, and sometimes it's not even work-related advice. It could also be personal advice, because some of the ladies would feel that maybe if they talk to me, they'll get something new, and also encourage a lot of them to come and talk to me whenever they have issues, although sometimes they don't feel that comfortable, maybe thinking that I'm too senior to discuss those issues. But sometimes I even call even the guys. It's not only the ladies, I even call the guys and I tell them sometimes that I'm actually talking to you as your sister and not your boss, so please change your ways. I think if you do this, you'll do much better. If you stop, maybe change your habits in a certain way. And they listen and it's good and they really feel fulfilled. And I would say as a manager, when you become a senior manager, most of your time, even as a managing director, you spend a lot of time dealing with people issues, because those are very, very sensitive issues.
Exactly. In your list of your mentors, I heard a couple of names that are male, and we are trying to achieve an equal gender balance when it comes to women in leadership. We want to have more women at the top. So what is the role of men into bringing up more women at the top? What can men do to ensure that they are also including women? You know, when you sit at the table and it's all male, they feel like their decision can go really much further. But I believe when there is a woman, they can bring a different perspective to things on the table. So what is their role? What can they do to ensure that we have more women at the table?
Okay, I would say that even I've seen a lot of changes happening on the diversity end over maybe the last 5 years, specifically in Tanzania. And in the past, the discussion about gender balance or gender parity in organizations was not there.
Yeah.
When I started working, that was not even a discussion. But with time, things have changed, and there's a lot of focus and concentration on that end right now. And it has gone as far as people talking about gender parity, from the board level to the senior management level, mid-level positions, even the most junior roles within the company. So I think if it's the contribution of what men should do, it's actually ensuring that whenever you have interviews, you should also look at balancing the candidates. If you start with balancing the candidates at the interview level, then at least you are sure that you'll not be biased when it comes to recruitment. And when it's advertising jobs internally, definitely yes. The female employees should be encouraged. They should call them, they should talk to them, that I think you have enough experience, you know a lot about this job, and please apply. So it's all about encouraging them. That's it.
Well, let's talk about leadership style. They say everybody has a style when it comes to leadership and lifestyle and the like. So what is your leadership style and how are you going along with it? When was the point you said, okay, this is how I want to lead. This is my style of leading and it's working for you?
Okay, I would say that I did not reach a stage and maybe decide that this is how I want to lead people. But I would say that it just happened naturally, because I became a manager of a team when I was 28 years old, and I think I was very young at that time. But of course, with a small team of people, you cannot start deciding now, okay, this is how I want to run this team. But it just came naturally that I think this is how I should deal with X, this is why I should deal with Y, and this is how I should deal with Z. And even up to this moment, I believe in a situational leadership style, because it really depends on the situation, what these people are supposed to do, and you cannot treat all the people the same way. There are always difficult chaps within the team who you have to deal with them in sometimes a very rough way for them to do just the basics of what they're required to do. And there are people who just by a phone call away or just an email, they'll do their job. So you always have to look at people differently, and I believe that I'm also a person with very strong emotional intelligence. So I get to know people internally and learn about them. So I'll only deal with those people the way I think that is right. And also the most important thing when I deal with people is also respect. Everyone wants to be respected. Human beings are different, but respect is universal. So you have to treat people with respect. That is very, very important.
According to your CV and what you have done before, you have been in the finance sector for a really long time, for what I believe. When you look back at the statistics in the finance sector, we have very few women who manage to reach the top roles, you know, becoming the CEO, CFO of banks or the likes, banks, insurance, everything that is related to finance. Do we find it that are people scared to entrust women on these positions, or are women actually scared to even apply for these positions? Maybe there are women who can do it, but they're scared to just apply. They're like, this is a male-dominated industry. You have been there for a long time. What do you think is causing most women not to reach the top when it comes to the finance sector?
Okay, I would say that the latter is right, because it's not that people are not looking at women to fill up the jobs. They do, but the issue is the women do not come up and apply for those jobs. And it's not only CEO's position, even other roles, other senior roles, even just being functional heads, heads of departments, heads of units, because it starts from the grassroots. That's what I believe. The leadership starts from the grassroots, and also it's something which within. That's why there are several books titled Leadership Without Title. So yeah, it comes from within, and actually what we see in our environment, if we find that we have colleagues who have the capacity and the knowledge, skills and experience to take up those roles, definitely yes, please walk out of your office, speak up to them so that they take those roles. The issue in the finance sector, I would say, actually that is one of the sectors which have very, very good gender balance. I would say maybe you can only say at the top level, the CEO position, but within the rest of the positions, the gender parity is very, very balanced in the banking industry. It is because, and I would firmly speak about this. Why is that so? Because women are very honest. They will hardly spend or steal money, so definitely they'll be there for long and for so many years. You'll find a lot of women who have worked in the banking industry, even just as bank tellers or even just as supervisors, but for so many years, more than 20 years. There are people who have started working with them at Standard Chartered Bank, and I think most of them are still there in the same positions. Why is that so? Because they're hardworking, and also they're very honest. They're people with which have very high levels of integrity. So I think that's a very strong position when it comes to women, and that should highly be encouraged, that they not remain there, but they should now move upwards out of that. Yeah. Now,
because of what you said, I came to grasp that women ourselves, we have the initiative to make it happen, to make ourselves reach to the top. So what give me a few things, maybe 2 or 3, that you could tell a woman who wants to climb the ladder. What can they do? What should be done? Or what skills should they learn so that they could attain those positions at the top?
Okay. There are 3 main things. I don't like listing so many things. Yeah. I just like making things much simple for people to understand. And I'll say there are 3 main things which I look at. The first thing is your interpersonal skills. Women by nature are very emotional people.
Very.
I think you also agree with me. And I'm also emotional. But, and that is where you really have to compose yourself to move upwards. You find women normally they will be fighting against each other in corporate offices, even in our social lives. But why waste your time fighting with your female colleagues? You should actually be focusing on actually improving yourself, looking at your success or the company's success, which actually comes back to your personal objectives and your personal success. So for me, the interpersonal skills, it's the most important factor when it comes to success. If you're able to interact with your colleagues and everyone around your society, all the stakeholders, at my level, I'm talking about, it will be regulators, it will be colleagues, it will be managers, it will be anyone from the watchman outside who is actually standing on the door or the gate of this office. There are a lot of other people around. The customers, you have to respect them. You have to deal also with your board directors who are your seniors within the company. So all the stakeholders, you should be able to manage them well, and if you have good interpersonal skills, that will not be a problem with you. So that you really have to balance, and I would say that actually takes more than 75% of your daily job. And then the rest is now hard work and self-determination. I don't like to repeat about hard work, because hard work is it's a basic thing towards success. You cannot succeed if you don't work hard, and working hard means also working smart. It doesn't mean that you work for 15 hours to be successful. No, I'm not saying that. But know what you're supposed to do and you'll actually make it. And also self-determination. You want your things done, be objective and make them happen.
Make them happen. Yeah, that is quite an interesting thing. So let's talk about MultiChoice. You have a top management role. You're the managing director here at MultiChoice. Since you came here, what changes have you made that you believe couldn't have been made by someone who wasn't a female? Maybe they wouldn't have that perspective. What did you bring at the table being here?
Okay, with respect to this particular discussion on supporting gender, I would say that I had to discuss with the head of HR and agree on strategies of how we are going to improve the gender parity within the company. Because right now we are at levels of around 40%, but the target is at least reaching at least 40% in the next 2 years. It is 2 years, could be seen that it's a long time, but still you cannot say that tomorrow I'm going to fire all men so that I'm going to balance and have a gender parity within the company. So it means there's a way in which you do things so that you create the equal opportunities across the team, and we also have to be fair as a company. You cannot just say that I'm eliminating these guys in this interview because I simply want to recruit the ladies who are around. So there are a lot of things which you had to do around that, so that's the system which is in place. And the other thing which we've done is also enrolling some of our mid-level managers to a program which is specific for women who are actually aspiring to take leadership positions. It's called Female Future Program, and it's actually organized jointly between Association of Tanzania Employers, ATE, and ESAMI, which is a well-renowned, I would say, organization, learning organization. So actually we have the ladies, the first batch is graduating next month, and then we've already lined up another list of ladies again who are going to actually join this next cohort for the same cause. So that's the major part of encouragement which we are doing, and also generally taking care of people issues, which is also very critical. Yeah.
Wow, that is a nice example of a woman who is leading but also is carrying out or trying to make other women reach at the top. I'd really like to applaud you for taking that initiative. But there are women who have been entrusted with positions that would actually put them in a better way to employ more people, such as the HR of MultiChoice, who we had a chance to speak with her, and she told us a little bit about her role and how they're trying to empower women. Let's listen to.
Hey, my name is Jacqueline Woiso, and I'm heading Human Resources Department for MultiChoice Tanzania. Okay, as the business, we have an eco recruitment policy, and our key focus mostly is in making sure that we really comply and we encounter all the practices when it comes to recruitment, though we also have a focus in recruiting most of the female, specifically on the leadership aspect, because looking at the global trend now, our key focus also to have a female leaders all around the businesses, and MultiChoice is also looking at that. So if you look at what we have now, when we have our vacancies, we also encourage and using the platforms that we use in terms of advertising the roles to make sure that they really scrutinize the potential female leaders to fill in the vacancies that we have. Okay, as MultiChoice, we have a leadership team of 11 people, and among the leadership team we have 4 female leaders, and the MD being part and parcel of the 4 female leaders. We have a lot of initiatives when it comes to developing the female leaders. Amongst them, like last year, we did involve 3 females who are in the middle manager role for Female Future Program, which is conducted with ESAMI together with ATE, Association of Tanzania Employers. They've started the program. It's a 1-year program, which is most captured the practical part of it and the theory part of it. They did sessions, and now they're really completing this year. So, and these people we are looking in terms of to be part of the retention team, and they've been really managing a number of projects within finance and customer experience department. And not only that, we also involved our females staff in different workshops, both physical and webinar courses. And amongst them I can even share that we have been part and parcel of the program that have been managed by UN Global, where we had people to attend a number of sessions. And also we did engage with like Doctors Plaza, where they had also had their sessions which speak around the women health. So there are a number of programs that we did to make sure that we really making sure that our female staff are really being empowered and being pushed to be good leaders. Because if you look on the participation of these events, it's also to upgrade them, to give them confidence, to give them a clear understanding of managing the projects, and also to make sure that they really come to be the best, because that is our key focus, to be the employer of choice within Tanzania and also in general as a global company. As I've mentioned before, that we have 11 leaders within the business and 4 are females. And if I take a reference, our MD could be a very good example, because leading MultiChoice Tanzania is not a joke, and it really requires a number of projects that she really needs to look at. And not only that, if you look at in terms of we also have shareholders, they're also looking at how the business goes. So if you really get to deep dive and understand the performance of MultiChoice Tanzania, that can give you a very good testimonial. Not only that, we have 2 other female leaders that were managing the customer experience platform, the CVM, the customer value management and customer experience platform. So I believe you're amongst the customers for MultiChoice Tanzania, and you see how people are performing, how people are being served. So it also gives a very good testimonial that we have a good leader that they can really manage and control the departments. And looking at myself, I'm HR and I'm amongst the leadership team, so having a lot of people within the business, looking at both MultiChoice staff and also dealing with the stakeholders like the outsourcing companies, and seeing that we have not a number of good grievances outside. So it showed that really the female leaders can really make the business to perform better.
Those were really good answers from the HR of MultiChoice Tanzania. And going back to you, Jacqueline, so we've been talking about empowering more women and the like. Within your organizations, are there people that you would attest that you were really behind them and their success, and you're the champion of them moving forward?
Yeah, and I would say that the other thing which was very critical for me is also creating the balance from the top level team at senior management level. So what we had is we had 2 roles which were vacant when I joined in the company. And when we set for the interviews, I again insisted that I want ladies as candidates as well as the men, because we had a long list of male applicants, but I said I also need female applicants. So I also got a long list again, but not as long as the other one of the female candidates. But eventually when we interviewed them, and luckily I found Nkwitika Mwakahesia, who was working at that time at NBC Bank, and I insisted that I want a lady. Actually a toss between Nkwitika and another male applicant. But I insisted that I want Nkwitika because, honestly speaking, I know women are very, very good when it comes to customer care and experience. This is an inborn talent with women, so why not give this opportunity to a strong lady to take this up? So that's how the job landed with Nkwitika Mwakahesia. We'll see her shortly. Yeah.
Supporting this statement, we are bringing to you the head of customer care and experience at MultiChoice Tanzania, who is going to attest to what the managing director just said, and we'll see how she has been empowered into reaching into the person that she is today.
Hello, my name is Nkwitika Mwakahesia. I'm the head of customer experience and care at MultiChoice Tanzania. Okay, so initially I was the head of customer experience at a bank, which is the National Bank of Commerce. So pretty much this role was a transition role. So I applied normally. I got the job description from LinkedIn and applied for the role. So I was happy getting the job. I didn't know what had transpired at the back, where a woman was preferred qualified for the role. So I wanted to do a transformation, to transform customer experience, because I've done quite a lot of initiatives from where I'm coming from. So pretty much I wanted to do the same thing at MultiChoice, and I believe that was a great opportunity, and that is why I also applied for the job. So pretty much that was my intent of coming to MultiChoice and applying for the role. For me, it all depends on your mindset. You need to start with your mindset. I do not regard anything as a challenge. I actually regard it as an opportunity. So whatever comes my way, I regard it as an opportunity, a chance to prove myself, a chance to take control. So pretty much that's how I balance things. What I prioritize, especially for self-care, is, first of all, I mentioned about changing your mindset. I've done quite a lot in changing my mindset, and what I've done over the years is not only have I exercised having a great self-esteem, but as well listening to motivational speeches. There are key motivational speakers that I listen to. I listen to Les Brown, I listen to Miles Monroe. So their teachings really help you to change your mindset to become more positive. But as well, I'll also manage a very disciplined routine, which makes me cope even in my leadership roles. So pretty much I have a disciplined work-life balance whereby I have a specific time to go to sleep, I have a specific time to wake up. I also give myself ample time in the morning where I can pray, and then I also exercise. Morning exercise really create a dynamic in terms of balancing what you can face during the day. The evening exercises help me to relax and also to be ready to go to bed and also have a fruitful following day. So pretty much that's the basic routine I follow through, and it helps me a lot. It really puts me into shape. So the only encouragement that I can give, I've spoken so much about mindset, because that's actually the principle that will drive you into success, because mindset will also shape your attitude. So pretty much there's no shortcut to life. So you need to be focused, you need to have the right mindset in terms of what you are achieving or what you are aiming towards. You can easily accomplish it by the help of God, and nothing can stop you. So as women, nothing can stop us. I'm a living testimony that nothing can stop you as a woman. So just aim high and God will do the rest.
Wow, that was quite a testimony from her. So we're going to ask Jacqueline one more question, and we'd like to know, what is a piece of advice, one or two or three, whatever you'd like, that you'd give your younger self today, knowing what you know today? What would you have told your younger self before?
I would say, first of all, no regrets of what I've done so far. But I would say that probably it's more of engaging with people as you grow in your career, and you should not restrict your mind with the people who are only within your organization. Talk to people from outside and then more. There's a lot really out there. The sky is the limit. That's what
Sky is the limit. Wow, thank you so much, Jacqueline. It has been quite an interesting interview. On March 8, 2021, we'll be holding the Citizen Rising Women Initiative 2021, and you're going to be there live through Mwananchi Digital or through Clouds Plus. But also you could read The Citizen newspaper, where you'll get more stories about women who are empowered or who are still at the top management roles. Don't forget to come at the event on March 8th, but also MultiChoice will be there to represent, so come and get the scopes and know everything about women in leadership.